Welcome. Hi. I hope you're doing well today and that this is a positive one for you. So, you just tuned into Brit's Tips. That is my channel. My name is Brittany, and I give tips on everything to do with managing young children. So, today I am going to dive into my 11th tip, and the tip is the top 10 questions to ask a prospective preschool or daycare before you send your children there. So basically, I'm giving like an inside scoop. If you haven't watched my other videos or read my profile, I have 15 years of experience in this field. I've been a teacher, I've been a director, and I just have seen it all. So the tips that I'm giving or the little pointers that I'm giving just come from experience. Also, I had a friend of mine contact me and ask me on her way into a tour what to ask. And I thought to myself, that's a great question. I'm sure parents and caregivers sometimes wanted just a quick refresher or, like I said, an inside scoop as to what to ask on your tour. So, without further ado, Brit's tip number 11. So, question number one, is the center or school licensed? That may seem like a really obvious question, and you may think, duh, of course, but not all centers and schools have to be licensed. If you have a smaller ratio of children, for example, home daycares, don't always have to be licensed. So, the reason why I suggest asking this is because centers that are licensed, they're government regulated and inspected. So that just means that they have to rise to a higher expectation as to how they function. So it doesn't mean that centers that are not licensed aren't quality. It just means that you have people actually coming out and inspecting the center. Basically, it just means that there are people other than the owners of the school that are holding them accountable to be providing a high quality program. Question number two, what is a center or school's discipline policy? Now, the reason I suggest asking that is because the way that a school functions in the name of discipline says a whole lot about how the whole program runs, right? So let's just say you go to a school or a center and you ask that question directly, and the director or whomever is conducting the tour is giving you a general answer. What you want to hear when you ask that is some form of them saying positive discipline. The reason is because positive discipline is the accepted form in this field of early childhood education. Positive discipline is the accepted form of discipline. It's proven to have more positive outcomes for children long term. So you just want to know what the discipline policy is. Unfortunately, there are some locations, some schools, some daycares, some places that really don't treat children right. Children are spoken to in ways that are really inappropriate, even physically handled in ways that aren't appropriate. So I definitely suggest asking directly, what is your discipline policy? Number three, what credentials are required for your teachers? Now, the reason I suggest asking this is because you have a lot of different degrees and credentials that educators can have, right? So for teachers that have a bachelor's and or a master's, like higher education, considered higher education, um, they have different credentials, right? And so basically teachers that have degrees and credentials, they always have those things on the line. So when it comes to their performance, generally you just see that they're more seasoned, that they're more knowledgeable in the field, and that they truly know what they're doing because it's their career and not just their job. Once again, it's not to say that teachers that don't have degrees aren't quality, but it is to say, or I would say, centers that require their teachers, and I'm talking about lead teachers. Assistants typically have associates or are working their way up to be lead teachers, so you would expect to see lesser credentials, but I'm just saying it's a nice sign to see lead teachers being required to have bachelor's degrees. Typically, you would see a higher level of performance with that expectation of education. Number four, number four, does the school or center have an indoor gross motor area? So gross motor really just means children's like larger muscles, right? So it's like their ability to run, jump, kick, and get out all of their energy. So the reason why I suggest asking if they have an indoor gross motor area is because most schools and locations are going to have an outside play area. Some don't, and you should observe that. But the reason why I'm saying look to see if there's an indoor area is because the days where there's inclement weather, right? Let's say it's raining, snowing, whatever the case may be, if there's no designated area in the school, that means that your children and all the kids in the school will be stuck inside. Now, if their teachers are truly trained professionals in early childhood education, they will facilitate some type of inside gross motor fun. So an obstacle course, something to let the children get their energy out. But the thing is, that means they'd be stuck inside, and if there's no indoor gross motor area, basically it kind of means that they would just be doing all of that in their classroom, which is not a horrible thing. It just shows a good sign to me, and it kind of can show you if a school is a little more funded, maybe a little more established, if they do have something like an indoor gross motor area. Number 5, how do the teachers assess the children's progress? I would ask that question directly on my tour because I would want to know, and I would think you'd want to know as well. That's a question that should be able to be answered rather clearly. Now, there's a lot of different assessment platforms for young children. There's a lot of like actual names for these programs that I'm not going to name, but I will say that the director, or once again whoever's conducting your tour, should be able to give you a feel of what they do. So in general, you should hear something about anecdotal notes, which means literally just note taking. Teachers should be taking pictures to prove learning, parent-teacher conferences. So the answer, there's a little wiggle room within this answer, but you want to know how the teachers are going to be assessing where your child is. And then a note, learning for young children is not just about academics. Truly, in their early childhood range, it's more about their social emotional development. So can they take turns? Can they wait? Can they be patient? All of those things matter more. We want them to develop those like primal skills, basically just socialization. You want them to learn those skills and master those really before the academics. Number 6, is the center or school Macy Accredited? Now, Macy stands for the National Association of the Education of Young Children. NACY was founded in 1926, and it is one of the largest nonprofit early childhood kind of assessment programs. So schools and centers that are able to hold the stamp of approval from NACY are considered high quality programs. So NACY is an organization that has just certain expectations. They come out and they assess the quality of the classrooms, how the teachers are engaging the children, how they're educating them, the actual environment. They assess your whole program, and they have a lot of expectations. I personally have sat through and helped a school become NACY accredited. So it's just a note. Once again, if a school or center is not NACY accredited, that does not mean that they're not quality. It's just a great stamp of approval if they are. Number 7, are there cameras in the classroom and around the facility? Now, the reason I suggest asking this is because with young children, things can happen. Things can happen anywhere at any time. I think it shows, for one, that the school is funded on a certain level, right? Which is always a positive thing. There's a lot of reasons why you'd want to send your child to a funded location. Typically, you have more trained educators. Usually that comes with higher quality materials and just access for your children. In the name of cameras in the classroom or around the facility, the reason why I think it's important to ask this is because if there's ever a situation, you'd hope there wouldn't be, but if there was ever a situation where a child was hurt, or let's say you had a situation where one child is saying another kid did this, if maybe for some reason you personally had some discomfort with the teacher, whatever the case may be, if a school has access to cameras in the classroom, that means that the director at any point can go back to an exact time and date and let you know exactly what did or didn't happen at that time. So really, it's just a massive safety thing, when it comes to where your child's going to be and when they're out of your provision. Number 8, how long has the staff been working at your center or school? So this question is relevant, and this is like one of those inside scoop questions. The reason why this question is relevant is because schools or centers that have a very high turnover of teachers usually shows you, or rather, usually that's an indicator of something not so positive. There can be lots of reasons for that, but when you have educators that have been in one location for a period of time, it usually means that they have a groove, that they're seasoned, that they're working together well. It's a positive thing, usually, to have teachers that have been in their jobs for a while. It's not to say that educators that haven't been there long can't provide quality, but schools that just are just running through teachers, it usually means that there's some disorder and some chaos. So I would just ask the question, how long have the teachers been working at the school? Number 9, does the school use a cleaning company? Now, that may also seem like a strange question, but the reason why I suggest asking that is because I think it's a nice and a good sign when schools are using a cleaning company. It's not like they have to. There's a lot of locations, and I've been in some, where the teachers and the staff were the ones responsible for the cleaning, and that can work as well. But right now it's 2022. Let's just be real. You have COVID, you have the flu. There's a lot going on in school environments. There's a lot going on with the medical field and people being sick or getting sick. So I just think it's a good sign. Rather, I think it would be a good sign. Once again, another thing to show you that a school was funded if they had a cleaning company. I also want to note, if a school or facility does not have a cleaning company, I don't think it means anything bad. Last but not least, tip number 10, do you observe diversity amongst the staff? Now, this may not seem like a super obvious question, or you may be like, Brittany, why would you ask that? The reason why, see, this is not necessarily something you would ask. I would probably think you would try to observe it on your tour. But everything about early childhood, when you go to school for this and when you have experience, everything about early childhood is about inclusiveness. So people of all races, colors, creeds, disabilities, it's all about teaching young children that we're all different and everyone should be accepted, right? So think about it. If you're in an early childhood, or rather, if you're thinking to send your child to an early childhood program, and there is no diversity at all in the staff, I would think that there would be a reason for that. And I'm just saying, I feel like when it comes to diversity, you would want to see it. I think it says a lot about management if you do see diversity, because I feel like it means then they potentially understand way more early childhood education and how we're supposed to be teaching these children every day about including everyone and about all races, all colors. So to have a staff where there's absolutely no diversity, the thing is with that, that would be a choice, Think about it. As a manager, you go and you hire people, right? You're aware of who you're bringing on your staff. And of course you want quality, but a manager or a director who is in tune with early childhood absolutely would be trying to push diversity amongst the staff, because ultimately all the children are going to be different. So it's important for children to see people who look like them and who don't look like them. So try to observe and see if you see any semblance of diversity, because that's a good thing for a high quality early childhood program. Those were my top 10 questions to ask a prospective daycare or preschool. So I really hope this was helpful. Come check me out every Monday. Come join me. Come subscribe. And if you have anything in particular that you want to ask or that you want me to talk about, just let me know in the comments and I will be sure to dive right in. So have a great day. Thanks for watching.